So this right here on the left is the AL standings based on best record to worst record for playoff teams. You can see the Rays, number 1, 77-53. Yankees, 74-56. Red Sox, 71-59. White Sox, 68-52. Astros, 65-66. Guardians, who own that last wildcard spot as of right now, 65-66 as well. But over here on the right is how the playoff bracket will go. You have the Rays playing the winner of the Yankees versus Red Sox, and the White Sox playing the winner of the Astros versus Guardians. And if you really are picking up what I'm putting down, the American playoff picture has a big problem, and it's that the top 3 teams are in one side of the bracket and the bottom 3 teams are in the other side of the bracket. And this is a big problem because it's basically rewarding the teams who are in weaker divisions, have a worse record, as they get a much easier playoff draw and have a much easier path to maybe make the World Series or the ALCS. If you look, you should not have the Red Sox and Yankees winner play the Rays. You shouldn't even have the Red Sox and Yankees play each other in the wild card series. The whole point of a playoff is to get the best teams to play each other in the later rounds, not the best teams to play them right away, because you want the best teams battling it in a 5-game or 7-game series and not a 3-game wild card set. As you get, the Astros are getting basically promoted because they're in a terrible division, under 500, while teams like the Red Sox and Yankees are double-digit games over 500, and they have to play each other when they could easily just play a team that's under 500 or a team that's barely even over 500, and the White Sox at 68-62. In my opinion, the playoffs should be reseeded after the regular season. Yes, if you win a division, you are in no matter what. You can even host the games, but it should be reseeded. It should be Yankees versus the winner of the Astros versus Guardians. It should be the Red Sox playing a team like the Astros or Guardians in the wild card series, not playing the Yankees who are in their own division. I'm all for the division winners getting in. I'm all for the division winners hosting these playoff series, but at a certain point, you have to reward the teams who are actually winning more than they're losing by giving them a favorable draw. If you reseeded the playoffs right now, it would be the Rays and Yankees getting the byes because they have the 2 best records. It would be the Red Sox playing a team like the Guardians, who are 65-66. And then it would be the White Sox and Astros playing against each other. In my opinion, this is a lot more fair because you want the best teams to be able to go deep into the playoffs. Represent your league well. Do you want an ALCS of the Rays versus maybe the Astros or White Sox? No. That will be an uncompetitive series, in my opinion. The best series you could get for the ALCS would be either the Rays versus Yankees or the Rays versus the Red Sox. Not a team like the Astros, who are barely going to be 500, playing against the Rays, who are going to be like 30 games over 500. Because you want your playoffs to be the best they can be. And right now, in the American League, they just have a huge, huge problem where the best teams are basically just going up against each other and having to battle it out in shorter series. Not to mention the third wildcard spot has been an absolute black hole this whole year. You have teams like the Mariners, who are basically 10 games under 500, only 2 games out, still fighting for their lives. This should not be the case. We have never seen anything like this before, and it's just going to make the playoffs so much more uncompetitive in the ALCS and even the DS. There's going to be 2 watchable series this postseason for the American League, because it's going to be good teams on good teams. That's going to be the Red Sox versus Yankees in that wild card spot, and the Rays versus the winner of that wild card series between the Red Sox and Yankees. While on the other side of the bracket, it's going to be basically just terrible teams who don't deserve to be in the playoffs but are getting favorable matchups because they're in bad divisions, and this American League is absolutely terrible, where you're going to get the Astros versus Guardians, 2 teams that are barely 500 getting to play each other, and the White Sox, who are just happen to be the second best division winner, getting a favorable matchup in the ALDS, probably going to have a cakewalk to the ALCS as a team that doesn't really deserve it. As a 4 seed, record-wise, you should not be getting the second seed and having a much favorable draw. It would be smart for the Red Sox or the Yankees to just absolutely tank the rest of the year and finish right over 500 to get that 6th seed third wildcard spot, because no one else wants it, and they could have a much easier draw to get to the ALCS, in my opinion. Playing a team like the Yankees, if you're the Red Sox in the first round, is just like, we had such a great year, and now we don't get a favorable draw. We have to play the second best team when we're the third best team, not maybe the 5th or 6th best team in the league, because this league is so bad and we're in the only good division. That should not be the case. The AL Central and AL West absolutely suck, and these teams are getting favorable draws because of it. The Red Sox and Yankees can't control who's in the division. They can only control winning more games than they're losing, and hopefully getting rewarded for it, but they aren't absolutely not getting rewarded for it. And the whole American League playoff picture is just absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. You should not have a division winner who's 65 and 66 right now. Should not be the case. You should reward the teams who are having great seasons, not having them match up against each other in a wild card series. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. Overall, in my humble opinion, if there's situations like this in the playoffs every year, the MLB should really take a step back and wonder, should we really reseed when the playoffs start, or at least just give these teams favorable matchups? Yes, the second best division winner, no matter what their record is, can get the bye. And yes, all the division winners can host these playoff series in their first round. However, you have to reseed them. Absolutely no scenario where this should be the bottom one side of the bracket and this is the other side of the bracket. You want your best teams to face off on the stage matters most, not in a wild card series. You want them to match up in the ALCS and the ALDS, where they have long series where they can actually prove who the better team is, not in a short 3-game sample size. You should have the best teams facing the worst playoff teams, not these 5 and 6 seeds facing off against each other because they just won an absolutely terrible division, or they got into that third wild card spot where you just need to be 81 and 81. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. The MLB needs to figure this out because it's going to hurt the playoffs for years to come if you don't get your best teams facing off in the longer series. You want the Red Sox and Yankees to battle it out in a 7-game set, not in a 3-game set. You want the Rays, Yankees, and Red Sox all battling it out in long series because those are the best teams. You want to showcase your best teams of your league to show who really is the best, not just in 2 or 3-game sets. And that is going to harm the American League when it comes to the playoffs for the foreseeable future, because the National League, they don't have this problem. You have teams who actually deserve to get in. You have the worthy division winners in the Dodgers, the Brewers, and the Braves, who are all the best teams in baseball. That's why nobody is scared of the American League this year. And you have the wild cards of the Cubs, who would be winning almost every division in the American League, and the Phillies, who have been hot, and the Padres, who are great teams. You don't have the teams like the Astros and Guardians, who are under 500, comfortably in a playoff spot and have like a real fair chance to go to the ALCS after finishing the year maybe 1 or 2 games over 500 or even at 500, just because they have a favorable draw and they don't have to play any of the elite teams in their league to get to the ALCS. You have to play the White Sox, who are very unexperienced, and a team that is 68 and 62 should be fighting for that last wild card spot, not comfortably leading their division. If they were in the NL, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs right now, but they're the 2 seed for the playoffs in the American League, and that's why the MLB has a big problem with their playoff format, especially this year. It's coming to fruition, and they just need to solve this problem because the AL is not going to be represented well if it's going to be like this. You want your best teams to make it to the later rounds and to deep into the playoffs. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment your thoughts on this situation regarding the American League playoff race.